Welcome back. Welcome back to another Beeline to Passports. My name is Joe Batista. I'm your host. And tonight we have Mr. Dylan Michael Swan. And today we are in his store. Welcome to Beeline to Passport.
What's up, man? Welcome. Thanks for having me. Welcome to my store.
Thank you. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And like every week, we ask our guests how everything started. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me about uh, your educations, parents, all that great stuff.
All right. So I was born in Vermont, actually, which a lot of people, believe it or not, don't even know that that's a state. Sometimes they ask me what state that's in. So I got a little tattoo to show them when they ask. Oh, I'm like, this is Vermont. Canada's right up here. So I was born. Can you hear me now? Is it
Yep,
better?
we're good.
So born in Newport, Vermont. I've always wanted to act. I've always loved film and TV. I didn't get into it till later, which I'll get to that. But yeah, I lived with my grandparents when I was younger. Moved with my dad when I was two. Still in Vermont. Moved around Vermont, and we moved to Florida in 2009, which is fast forwarding quite a bit. But lived with my grandparents again then, and then Florida is where I got into acting. So
Awesome, awesome. And being in Vermont, is upstate, coming to Florida. Uh, why your family decide to move down here, down to the hot weather versus the cold weather and the good maple syrup?
I know. See, maple syrup. Have you been up there? Have you been to Vermont?
No, I just read about Vermont.
Oh, Vermont's beautiful, man. The maple syrup is good. If you want maple syrup and not the fake syrup, you got to go get some stuff from Vermont. But I think a big reason why my grandparents moved down was they had kids down here. I think three or four of their five kids were living in Florida already. Florida's the place that everybody wants to move to, right? People want to get out of the cold. They hate shoveling the snow and scraping the ice off your windshield, all that. So I think that's a big reason why they moved down here. So
Awesome, awesome. And brothers, sisters, how many is your family? Is it a big family or
yeah,
a very small family?
it's a lot. So back to when I was born, like I said, I lived with my grandparents. They were actually my mom's foster parents. So when I was 4 days old, I moved with them. And at the time, they had two foster sons, Nick and Jason, which are my brothers. I grew up with them. They love to brag about how they changed my diapers when I was a baby. That's we'll be out like hanging out, getting dinner with somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, I used to wipe his butt," and I'm like, "Thanks." You could have not shared that, but so I got those two. I always have to go back through and count because it's a lot, like I said. And then I have a little brother that was born, man, when I was 5 or 6, maybe 7. Skylar. He is what 22, 23 now. And then I have a brother Jackson who is 18 or 19. I have a sister Hannah, a sister Emma. I have twin siblings that are 3 years old, Molly and PJ. And I think that's it, but I might have to count again. But I don't know, how many was that? 7, 8?
About 7. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a big family.
yeah. But yeah, I've only lived with 2 or 3 of them. So it's like I said, it's a long story. It's a lot. But yeah, that's the family.
Well, at the same time, that's great because big families when they have the Christmas meeting or any event, you always have something new to learn about your family. Because that person, oh, hey, I found my cousin, and he was with this other person, and
Right.
that is the conversation for the whole night, probably. I my family is big as well. My dad's side is they're 21, and from my mom's side they were 12.
Wow.
And doing
Siblings or
siblings.
you had that many siblings? You're saying? Or
No,
no?
I have only two,
Oh, okay, okay.
but have a meeting with cousins and all
Oh,
that.
yeah,
We basically was renting a whole stadium because
yeah.
there was like 400 people
Oh, I
if
believe
you
that.
count it.
Yeah.
Because I have a one cousin that she has 10 kids.
Oh, wow. My my great grandmother had nine kids. So I had that was my foster grandmother. She's I say foster just because of back the story I was explaining, but she's my grandma. You know,
Yes,
blood is nothing. You know what I mean?
that's right.
But she so her mom had nine kids. So I had those were my aunts and uncles. You know, I had nine of those, and then I had my biological father, and then he had a wife, which was my stepmom. You know, so I had her family, his family, my mom's family, whoever she was married at the time. You know, their family. So yeah, very big family. The siblings though, just kind of talking about it. I don't think a lot of them even met each other because like some were my dad, some were my mom, some were foster. You know, so they all knew me, I knew all them, but they weren't all related. You know what I mean? So
All right. Now, in this big family, anybody in the entertainment world, entertainment industry?
um, no, just me, I guess. Yeah,
You are the first one. You are breaking the ice, basically.
yeah,
Okay.
basically, yep.
Okay. Saying that you went in high school or middle school, you taking lessons or any classes to be in this industry?
No. So I actually dropped out in the eighth grade.
Okay.
And it was a rough time when I was 14, 15, which is a story for another day. But yeah, dropped out, didn't finish eighth grade, but somehow I ended up living with my mom. I'd never lived with her, but when I was 14, she said, "Hey, you know, come live with me. I'm ready to be your mom." You know, so tried that out, didn't work out. But during that time, she was able to enroll me into high school, even though I didn't finish eighth grade. So I went to high school for about 2 months.
Okay.
Long story, like I said, went through a lot, and unfortunately, I didn't really have a place to stay for a while. So I ended up moving back to Florida, living with some friends for a while. Yeah, so never finished school.
Okay. And why you decide, and we're going to talk about your entrepreneurship
Mm-hmm.
later on, but when you decide, like, okay, uh, I like this, the movies, and it's time, okay, let me go and take some courses to try to prepare myself to be in front of the camera.
So I had never took any classes or anything. I did an audition when I was maybe like 10 or 11 for it was like corn pops or something. It was like got to have my pops, you know,
Hmm.
which I think they actually discontinued that cereal. I don't think pops is a thing anymore.
No, I didn't see
No.
any of that for a while. Yeah, that's
Yeah. So um, it didn't work out. You know, they're like, hey, you know, you're great. You got the look, but we need you to take some classes. You know, give us $7,000 and we'll train you and you'll be great. You know, and at the time, my grandparents, my family said, hey, that's a lot of money. You know, probably not right now, maybe in the future. So kind of went on the back burner. Did a lot of other things during that time, things I probably shouldn't have. You know, back and forth with friends and all types of stuff. But uh, lost my train of thought. So I did end up getting into it. It was maybe what 2018 or 19, I think. I was working at Outback Steakhouse, and I overheard that one of the waiters there was an actor, David. Can't think of his last name right now. He was in Waterboy, Dolphin Tale, The Right Stuff. He was in a bunch of stuff. He's in commercials as well.
okay.
Anyways, David was an actor, and we kind of talked, and he said, "Hey, right now they're doing casting for The Right Stuff, which is a TV show about the astronauts that went to space in the 60s." And
Okay.
at the time I had short hair, you know, really short hair. He's like, "You got the look, man. You could play, you know, a character in the 60s." So that's when I first got into it. So my first production set I was ever on, no experience whatsoever, was like multi-million-dollar budget film. It was The Right Stuff, which was actually produced by Leonardo DiCaprio. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
That was basically the first time that are in front of a camera
yeah.
and on a set, basically.
First time, and the night before I was just going to be a background or extra, you know, which I was most of the time. I did stand in as well, but they sent me an email. They said, hey, do you have experience being a waiter? And I didn't, and I'm sorry, front runner, I lied, but I told them I did have experience. So I go on set the next day, and they're like, you know, they give me a tray to hold all these drinks and all this, and the whole night I was worried. So I'm like, man, is it going to be heavy? Am I going to be able to balance it? And as I'm sure most of you know, it's not that hard, but so that's what I did. It. The hardest part was going around and giving out the drinks to people, picking up their cups, and then they're like, all right, cut, and you got to reset it. And I'm like, man, okay, who had this bourbon? Who had this? You got to remember what table you set it all back for continuity. That was the hardest part, not carrying the tray, which I thought was going to be hard.
Yes, yes. You know, being in different industry, I worked many years ago with Disney as a boss boy, and then I was a server or a waiter for a restaurant in Disney. And I know what you mean. Carrying that heavy stuff with the drinks or the plates. That's super heavy.
I didn't do plates, but I'm sure that would have been
Yes.
heavy. But for the first time on set, man, it was impressive is an understatement. It was, I mean, hundreds of people, ton of people, all types of equipment. I got to work side by side with Patrick J. Adams, couple just really talented people. So it was great for the first experience. It was mind blowing for sure.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, let's take the first commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue talking about your story, what project you've been involved in the last 2, 3 years in this movie or entertainment industry. Also, we're going to talk about your business, and we're here on the location, a beautiful place in Groveland, Florida. But let's take this short commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Mr. Dylan Michael Swain here on Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. Welcome back to Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. And today we have Mr. Dylan Michael Swain. He is an actor, also an entrepreneur. And Dylan, tell us about, let's start with the business we have in this beautiful place here in Groveland, Florida. Tell us about when you started and how you start this, because you mentioned on your first segment, on this first segment of the show, that you were in school, you decided to drop out, and you become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So funny enough, I guess I used to do yard sales when I was a kid too, and I didn't even remember it. One of my friends brought it up. He's like, "You remember we used to sell those bikes and stuff?" I was like, "No, I don't remember that." When we were 8 or 9. But when I really started into what I'm doing now was I started eBay in 2012. I was 14 at the time, and I had to lie about my age because I think you had to be 18 to sell on eBay. So I put whatever I had to put so I could legally sell on there.
Okay.
And yeah, I started 2012. I think it was March of 2012, and just kept doing that. And then when I was like around 16, I would do yard sales at the house on the weekends, and I would make 4 or 5, excuse me, 400 or 500 bucks a day doing that, off just selling either stuff I'd get for free or stuff I'd buy in bulk from somebody. And I just realized, man, this is a pretty good business. It's fun. Obviously, at the time, I didn't have the overhead I do now. Now it's not quite as fun when you have a lot of bills to pay. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I started. I started on eBay. I remember this guy posted a couple boxes of like video games and DVDs for like 50 bucks. And I bought that lot, and then I got home that night and I listed one game, and it sold for 50 bucks like instantly when I listed it. And I said, man, okay, there's money to be made. And I probably made a couple $100s off that first buy. And 16-year-old me, I'm like, this is awesome. So
Awesome, awesome. And basically, you start doing the sales and meet people, and you have the overhead, like you mentioned. Now you in a building with several. How many rooms this building have with
oh,
different products?
I'm not sure. I have 20, 24, or 25 different vendors now. So
Wow.
people rent out spaces, and then we also have a thrift section in the back. So you got your clothes, your pots and pans, your furniture, stuff like that. So essentially the best of both worlds. I kind of look at the front here as like a vintage market, and
Okay.
then the back is a thrift store. So um, there's a lot of rooms, and then there's also an upstairs, which I've done some filming up there. You've been up there. I do live auctions on Whatnot as well, sell stuff on there. I also, store my eBay stuff, list stuff up there as well. I did. I got a location in July of 2019, July 10th, I believe, or somewhere around there. July 2019. I started renting a space. So this was what, 4 years ago. I was 21. A lot of people still don't know. Even customers don't know I'm the owner here. I had someone today comment on the post like, "Oh, is that your family store?" And I'm like, "No, it's my store. It's not my family. It's me." And not saying that to be cocky, but it's me. I do the work. I've been here.
Yes.
I 24/7. I'm the one that does it. Um, but yeah, so 2019, right in the middle of the pandemic, is when I finally got a location and decided to take on that change and all the extra overhead. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Basically, the risk. You took that risk because it's a risk.
oh yes,
It's an investment for your future, your family, but at the same time, it's a risk because you put in money to make money.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That
And I think any business you have to have money to make money. There's many times where someone will hit me up with a deal, and say, "Hey man, I got this box of games for $200," and I'll kind of look through it. I'm like, okay, I know it's worth 1,000, so it's a no brainer to get it for the $200. But again, you're taking a risk because how long is it going to be until you sell it, till you get all that money back? If you only have $200 to your name, do you really want to put that out? And
hmm
then which there's been times, honestly, even now, people think, oh, you must have money because you got the store. And I'm broke. It's like when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad.
yes, yes,
If I don't make my overhead for one day, we'll just say an example, say it's $300 for the day. If I don't make that on Monday, when Tuesday comes around, whatever's left for Monday goes on a Tuesday, and then I
correct.
got to make 500 Tuesday. If I don't make 500 Tuesday, I got to make 800 Wednesday, and then that just snowballs. And if you don't get it, then you're screwed.
Exactly,
So
exactly, and that is the part of the business most people don't understand.
they don't, and it's in my head 24. I'm in bed at night, trying to fall asleep, and I'm like, man, I got to make $600 tomorrow. Otherwise, Wednesday comes and I got to make eight. And it's a lot of stress. It's more of a mind thing than anything else.
Correct, correct. And with this podcast, people just come tell the address, and the people they listen the show, and start writing the information about and the name of the store.
For sure. So I'm located in Groveland, Groveland, Groveland. I hope I spelled that right. I'm a bad speller, but Groveland, Florida. It's a beautiful city. It's they say it's the city with natural charm. It is an up and coming city. It's very busy right now. Traffic is crazy, but there's a lot of great restaurants, and then my store as well, which is located at 104 East Broad Street in Groveland, as I said 3 times already. And the store name is Swan's Mercantile Vault. So, and a little backstory on that: the vault is because it's an old bank built in 1908, so it actually has the original vault door. And then mercantile, which if you don't know what that means, look up the definition. But it's basically a little bit of everything. And there used to be a business in this town back almost 100 years ago called Edge Mercantile, which is the building right across the street, old brick building. So I kind of adapted, kind of took that, worked it with my name, Swan, and then mercantile, and added the vault, and that's how you got the name.
But yes, and for people in the Central Florida area, Groveland is the next city after Clermont,
Yep.
and the city before Mascot. That
Correct. Yeah.
basically it. Highway 50, you go past Clermont before you get to Mascot. Right there is Groveland, and you will not pass this store because it's basically in Highway 50.
It's right on 50, right on the corner, and it's one of the most beautiful buildings in the city. I'm not just saying that. You could look it up. It's a work of art. 1908. It's a bank. It looks, if you have an iPhone, I don't know if it's the same on Androids, but if you hit the bank emoji, it looks just like the front of my building, which I think is cool. I found that out a couple months ago. I was like, that's awesome.
Awesome,
So
awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, going back to the acting part, when in the last 2 3 years, what project you be involved? What different projects and already post production or already release?
Well, like I said, so I started maybe four years ago, roughly, and a lot of what I did when I started out was background or extra. I did stand-in work, which, if you don't know what stand-in is, it's where you basically stand in place of where that the actor will be. You kind of make sure they get the lighting right and this and that, shadows, whatever. So I did that for a couple years. I might have had a couple lines here and there, like kind of in the background. You'd hear me say something, but nothing, no serious roles. Honestly, I really started pursuing this, I want to say 6, maybe 8 months ago. I went down to do a music video in, I don't know, I want to say Parish, maybe it was, no, Naples. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, it was in Naples. And I actually met Chris D. Roberts. Shout out to him. Awesome guy. Love working with him. He's coming up in one of my films, which I'll get to that. But he said, hey, man, they got these auditions, sorry, in Orlando for a film. You should go. So I went, saw him there, did that, got the role for Surviving Jehovah. So,
Nice, nice. And Chris is basically my partner, and basically an officer. We were doing another film recently. It's called Fix and Snakes, and he was my partner, my other detective partner in that film. Awesome, man. Well, let's take another short commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue talking about different projects that you are working right now and other areas that you want to pursue. But remember to drop a comment or question. You would like to hear them here in our show. The number is 407-476-9059. Remember to say my name, Joe Batista, following by your name, your comment or question, and you could also hear it here on Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from music and the short commercial break. And you listen GKI Radio. My name is Joe Batista, and this is your show, Beeline to Passports. And tonight we have a good friend. His name is Mr. Dylan Swan. Dylan, what projects you are involved right now? What you doing right now in film or also commercials?
well, I just finished up uh, a small part that I had in Tribute, which was a film with Fear Fame Productions. Joe Fame, great guy. Had the pleasure of working with him and met some awesome people on set there. I played a high school character, believe it or not. I don't know if I still look like that, but kind of funny. Speaking of the high school thing, like I said, I didn't really get to go to high school, so being able to play a high schooler was kind of interesting.
Nice.
Um, Now tomorrow I'm actually I have a role as Jacob in My Sister's Keeper, which is a Kelly Weaver project. I believe it's like a TV show um, that he's doing. So I got a small role in that. And then coming up, I'm playing a homeless drug addict in a film called Three in Vain. Um, so that'll be fun. That's for the OIF, which is Orlando Independent Filmmakers, if you guys don't know. And then I'm helping out Heather Fraley with a project on the 19th of this month, doing the audio for them. I prefer to be on camera, but I've done other stuff. I've done PA, I've done set decorating, PA, PM, stuff like that, production assistant. And then, so the thing that I'm really excited about though is in April we are filming my film for the OIF, which is called Poker Night. It's a short action film, about 9 minutes long. You'll be there for that, hopefully. So, um, and I'll be directing that as well. It'll be my first time directing and trying to get in shape so I can play the part as a an action superhero guy. Well, not really superhero because I don't really do good things in it, but you know,
Well, you seen the Amazon The Boys?
what is it?
The Boys. No,
No, I don't think so.
basically the heroes, well, the heroes or the action uh, bad guys, because they are good heroes for some people, but basically they do everything wrong. You
Oh,
never know. That can be counted as a hero. You never know. All right, but that's good. Yeah, and that's when we on that to be part of the poker night. In different areas that you need. Very interesting people you heard, and he's been doing in front of the camera, also behind the camera, assisting other directors to grow his career. That's like a conversation that we have weekly here when we have actors, actresses, models in our show. Then we talk about that. And you need to learn the whole industry
for sure. Yeah.
because it's different when you are always in front of the camera, but you don't know the whole process behind the camera because it's a lot to
It
do,
is.
from script writing to production management to production assistant, to run the whole movie post production. Because most actors, well, they decide, okay, no, I'm gonna be an actor and that's it. But being an actor in front of the camera is basically, okay, you are from this day to this day, and that's it. You go home, and it is paid. You receive your payment, or it is non-paid, but they're gonna give you the IMDb credit. They put the information on the IMDb credit, and okay, claps and continue. But it's a hard work doing the whole
Oh, it's
process.
a lot. Yeah.
Recently, I finished one. There was a 16 days production, very nice. The production company, they treat everybody like a king and queens, and perhaps they decide then in future plans, future projects, that's gonna be the same crew that they're gonna use because it's this the synergy
Right.
than is created on a set, and that is important when
Oh,
you work
yes.
with any project. If you have a good synergy, that will move projects fast and easy.
Right.
And it's not easy being 12 to 15 hours
Oh,
in a set, and sometimes only have water or probably some
some
chips
pretzels or gummies or something. Yeah.
just for 15 hours.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons. And we were on the OIF event in December, when this gentleman was telling, hey, I was with the opener for Martin Lawrence, talking to him. He said, well, I developed diabetes. I developed all these things because there was long hours, don't eat
Yeah. Just
right,
junk food. Yeah.
a lot of junk food, but he enjoyed. But he's saying now he's enjoying more being retired and doing other projects. Why? Because he can eat healthier.
Right.
That is something that we're talking in this show often. Then we need to work three areas: mental, physical, and emotional health to be in this industry,
Oh, yes.
because it's not easy. In this season, we have Mr. Jesus Maldonado. He said he was the first show on this season. He explained, and he was depressed last year because he was submitting.
Not getting answered.
Nobody answered. He got a part, and because the accent, they kind of bully him, and that basically turned his mental health. And he say, well, that's it. I no longer don't want to continue on this industry until wife and daughter say, hey, lift him, and they start moving to the new projects. And this year, he's been involved in several projects. Now he have a segment on a radio in Tampa. He's been moving because he decided to move out of that uh, state of mind, because basically depression is part of state of mind that you need to move out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and you working, you're working out. It's
Started to just a couple weeks, guys.
yeah.
But
He's here,
getting there.
for we doing also the recording for the YouTube channel, and he have a short sleeve and kind of spaghetti strap, and he's showing
Spaghetti
the muscle.
strap. I got a long ways to go, but I'm trying, man. Like I said, I got to play the part, so I got to
Yes.
maybe put on like 20 pounds of muscle and drop, I don't know, 30 pounds of fat, and then I'll be great. So
But that's important. Actors always need to prepare themselves
yes, yeah,
on all the every area. We're talking about your character, for example, is that you need to build the muscles. You need to dedicate time for that.
exactly.
Um, this coming up a movie directed by Mr. J-Lo. Sorry, Ben Affleck. I always say Mr. Yellow. J-Lo.
Right.
It's called Air. Is the story about Nike.
Mm.
And I saw the trailer last night, and Mark Wahlberg is one of the actors there, and you're gonna see that he looks big but fat, no big like
Oh, he's not
muscle.
muscular. Now he's fat. Really? From the
Exactly.
film? Yeah.
And you see a movie before, he was all
Oh, yeah,
muscle.
he's a big dude. Yeah.
Now he is, fat, just for the character that he gonna be in these movies.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that actors do that. I never saw it. I think it's called Copland with Sylvester Stallone, which is one of my favorite actors.
Hmm.
Most people know who he is. Great guy, great actor, I should say. I don't know if he's a great guy or not. I've never met him, but he for Copland, I believe he was playing a role of a cop, and he put on some weight. He had a big beer gut, and normally he's freaking ripped. I mean,
Yeah.
even now you look him up, he's like 77, I think, and
Yes.
he looks better than you and I. I wouldn't pick a fight with him. So
Yeah, on that series that he was with the other actor, there was three movies. The Impossibles. That was the name of the movie.
Expendables,
Expendables. Sorry,
yeah,
Impossible.
close
It's
enough, yeah.
yeah, that one. You remember that he had an accident because he was doing the stunts, and on a fight, the guy hit him so hard they break some bones.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, and that was in one of the movies. It's like Mr. Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise.
Right. Well, he does his own stunts, doesn't he?
Exactly, and he
Yeah.
jumped. I remember he was doing one of those, and he jumped. And he broke his leg.
Oh man.
They stopped the movie for 6 months because he's the one doing his own stunts, and the other is Mr. Jackie Chan. These people, they love to do their stunts, but it's risky.
It is risky. That's another thing. With me trying to get in shape, I thought about it. I would like to be able to do some of these things. Like
Hmm.
I couldn't do a backflip right now.
Oh,
Again, that's
yes.
embarrassing. But I would like to be able to do that. I'd like to be able to do all these flips and walk on my hands. It's just But I'm like I'm not in the shape to do that. I would like to be able to do my own stunts too. But right now, I don't think I could. I mean,
It basically, and it's training. Then you need to say, okay, I'm gonna do martial arts training. I'm gonna do guns or armory training, horseback riding training, because you never know when you need to do a show or basically a movie. Then you need to do that part, and as well, they have the on the martial arts. They have different styles of martial arts. Then you need to train on some different, and same thing with the guns, because it's not the same. Like, yeah, I know how to handle, but if you have the proper training, they will show that you know what you're doing.
right.
All right. Well, let's take another short commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of Mr. Dylan Michael Swain here on Beeline to Passports. And thank you for being with us, learning more about his story. We'll be right back with more of Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. We are back. We are back from commercial break and good music here on this show, Beeline to Passports on GKI Radio. And tonight we have Mr. Dylan Swan. Dylan, we talk about your projects. What future projects you're looking to do? And also tell us your social media, your INDB, then people can start following you.
Okay. Well, there's a lot I would like to do. One of the things on my to do list is a horror film that I wrote 2 years ago. I wrote it based off my other location. Um, so now that I've moved locations and I have this building, I have to go back through and edit the script and change some scenes and stuff like that. But it's still the same storyline. So that's one of the big things. I was really hoping to do that this year. But as days are going by, man, time's flying by. It's probably going to be next year because I want to go all out with that one. So I need to come up with some money and equipment and stuff like that. I know a lot of people that have equipment, but it would be nice to have some of my own too to do that. So that's one of the big things that I would like to do. And then I need to do I need to make an account on Actors Access and casting networks and stuff, which I don't have an account on. And I just need to submit more because that's something that I haven't done a lot. Half the work that I'm getting is from people reaching out to me and offering it to me. There's actually another thing coming up. I'm going to be a DCF worker in Danielle D'Angelo's project, The Evil Within, I believe, Part Two or the beginning. I think it's The Evil Within Part Two. It's the third one of their trilogy there. But anyway, so I'll be a DCF worker in that, and then the horror film, and have a couple other ideas that I'm talking with some people about. So
Nice, nice. And this entertainment world and most here in the Central Florida area is very small because I work with her and Daniel and with her son in a movie. Then it's called Seven Roses.
oh yeah,
Then he was basically the main character child H, and he did great.
oh he's a great kid. Yeah, I worked with him for a couple days, and I look forward to working with him again. He's very talented.
Yes, it is.
The kid was crying on command. I mean, he's I want to say what 12, 13 maybe, but very talented. And his mom's great. His sister's awesome too. She was helping out on set. She was doing the clapper and kind of like PA, and she loved to yell quiet on set. She's like 12,
Yes.
13, so I think she felt good being able to tell everyone what to do. So
Awesome, awesome. And we talk about Chris, and they have many others, the people, and then basically we work in different movies with Heather. I
yeah,
worked with Heather as well on Seven Roses, and she was part of Seven Roses. And hey, this is a business, then you need to learn to collaborate and work
Sure.
good with everybody, because when somebody have an opportunity, they will call you
Yeah.
and they will expand in your career and add your projects on your resume.
Yeah, exactly. And talking to people that aren't in the industry, like, oh, you must be making money. You're making money, and I'm like, some of the projects, yes, but a lot of them right now, the small ones, they're independent films.
Yes.
These people don't have millions of dollars. They don't even have thousands necessarily. So, no, we get food and we get an IMDb credit, which to me, that credit sometimes is worth more than the 150 or $250 you would make that day. So, but yeah, networking is important, dude, and taking the opportunities where you can, and helping out people where you can, and just collaborating, like you said. There's some really amazing people in this industry, and I call most of the people, part of my film family. You know,
Correct.
um,
Correct.
sometimes we talk outside of work relation. Just send a message, hey man, hope you're having a good day, or we're friends on Facebook, and we'll like each other's posts of our family, or whatever. So it's great, man. It is.
And it is an industry, then we help each other in different areas. We try to uh, help in different points, behind the scene, in front of the camera, uh, doing the project managing, because that is the hard part, putting all together, looking for the different sets. And okay, this is a great idea, but look on this other location, then this location can give you more, opportunities. And you never know. And this is part also of the Orlando independent filmmakers idea. Then you collaborate on different films, you take in advantage of learning, but at the same time networking.
Yeah.
And when they have projects, like the one I mentioned earlier, that was, I get involved on that because collaboration in other projects. I received a call, hey, let's do this. It's a feature film,
Right.
and that will open doors for other projects in the future.
Definitely. Yeah.
Always, 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 we need to do the best and be the best in what we do. Then the people see it, and they will help you to grow your career and grow any business. Repeat again the address for your business, and where the hours also of operation that you have for your business, and where the people can check on it is a website or Facebook or any place. Then people can see where is the Swan Mercantile Vault.
Yeah. So the address again is 104 East Broad Street, Groveland. And you might look at it and be like, man, that's 2 hours away. I'm telling you, it's probably worth it. I think you'd probably find something you'd like. There's, like I said, there's restaurants nearby, so you can grab some lunch, come in here, shop around. A lot of people say, man, I got to come back again because it takes a lot of time to go through and see everything. So yeah, 104 East Broad Street, Groveland. We are on Facebook. I do have two Facebook pages for the business because I had the old store and this store. So one of them is Swan's Thrift Store. You can follow that one. The one that I post on more frequently is Swan's Mercantile Vault. Spelt out just like that. You'll see a picture of the building, which looks like a bank, so you won't miss it. You can also find it on Google. And then, as far you want to mention my personal stuff as
Yes,
well. Oh,
yes.
so the business too. I will say we are open 7 days a week. So weekdays 10 to 6, weekends 10 to 4. If for some reason that changes, we do post it on the Facebook page. So I do suggest you follow that. And I do ship worldwide as well. So if you see something on there you like, I can ship it to you. Obviously, we would charge you for the shipping and stuff. But um, so my personal stuff, I believe my Instagram is my name, Dylan Michael Swan. You could also look me up on IMDb, which is Dylan Michael Swan as well. If you type it in Google, it should come right up. I'm also on TikTok. I don't post a ton on there. I'm trying to more, about 2 videos a week, trying to average out that. I don't do all the crazy, funny, stupid videos. Doing silly stuff like some people do, which is great. I'm not bashing them.
Mhm.
I don't do that. I kind of use it more as like a vlog. I come on and
Correct.
say, hey guys, this is what I did this week. Here's some pictures. Um, almost something I can look back at and see too, and see, oh yeah, this is what I did, kind of memories, and just like I said, just show people
Mhm.
um, what I do. So
That's important. It's important. Everybody use their social media how they prefer. I have TikTok, but I don't post anything there. I look, I look everybody, but I don't. I feel uncomfortable doing the video and dancing. That's
it's
most of the
hard,
people
yeah.
does. Yeah.
It's it's awkward to just stand there by yourself, and it's different acting on camera when you have people, someone behind the camera saying action, do this. When you're sitting there by yourself with your phone, and you're like, okay, blah blah blah, doing all the silly stuff. Like I'd like to get to that point because some of those people, they make money off it.
Yes, it
They get a
is.
lot of fans and followers, and
Mhm.
maybe I'll get there one day. But right now, I'm doing what works for me, like you said. Whatever works for the individual. So
Correct, correct. Well, Dylan, has been a pleasure, for the invite to come to your store, do the show from here. Then we can see, and if you want to see something, just first, you can check on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. You're going to see the video of this interview, and you're going to see on the back, you're going to see part of the merchandise that he have. Follow him using Facebook. Also, he have the Instagram, and they have many, many projects. Then Mr. Dylan Michael saying he wants to do, and we'll want to be there to help him to grow on his entrepreneurship and also on his actor career. Well, thank you again, and your final thought before we finish the show.
final thoughts. So when you were saying entrepreneur, I kind of made up a name for myself. So because my last name is Swan,
Mhm.
and I'm an entrepreneur, so I am the Swantrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Do you know a Swantrepreneur? You do now, right? You know me. So that's like also on TikTok. It says Dylan Michael Swan, but it says the Swantrepreneur. So it's kind of cheesy, but it is what it is, man. That's what I am. I'm the Swantrepreneur. So I need to start a clothing brand or something. But
Hey, what?
thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. And thank you for being with us in another Beeline to Passports. And remember, be a leader, rock the world, inspires others with your emotions in control. Good night.